to expand their processing from primary level, which is granular crude oil, to refining. Their reports were then adopted by Parliament.
That we will not accept, because we have taken oath. We want to improve the service delivery of all the PEs, the public agencies. So one of the ways we can go forward is for those agencies to implement the recommendations of the auditors, to implement the recommendations of this committee, which you have done. So you are commended again.
They were then followed by the Asset Management and Recovery Corporation, AMRC, whose current management inherited a poor financial condition. But despite this, though, members commended the current management for improvement made during the period under review.
It was $1,719,200. It gave us a total expenses of $14,301,365 against $22,236,210 in 2011. On other incomes, Honorable Speaker, the AMRC recorded $665,293 against $670,899.
Despite achievements made by the current management and the special task force that was set to investigate and recover losses of the corporation, they were engaged by the parliamentarian as to what improvement they have worked on to ensure that such doesn't replicate.
We frequent them, and as mentioned in their report here, they've already provided a debtors list, which is with the task force. They were also very helpful in the collection of debts with the Inspector General of Police, and among the 4.3 million we've collected so far, 3.7 belongs to them. Unfortunately, they don't have any access to it because executive directives are given that a bank account should be open and nobody can withdraw from that bank account. I want to thank them for their cooperation with the task force, and also to the response given to last year's recommendations and observations.
Though impressed with the above-average performance of the corporation, lawmakers also recognize and acknowledge the shortcomings of the corporation in giving out loans that in most cases are difficult to recover, and the amount of money spent on donations and entertainments despite the reduction made. These, they argued, must be looked at and addressed if the institution's holistic growth and development are anything to be sustained. The activity reports, audited accounts, and the financial statement for the year 2011-2012 were then unanimously adopted by the lawmakers.
I only hope that you have listened to what the subject matter specialist said, and on the whole you are preparing unbeknown to us. You see, a member of the board also has come out to show us that what Mr. Njai is pointing on to is what you must work like to see that the AMRC must exist, and will exist with, I think, a reputation that is going to remember the wounds it had, and after healing will change into a stronger institution.
Rohi Bitey, Grts News.
Environmental
in line with that quest, the National Environment Agency and other players in the environmental protection have met to validate the environmental impact assessment regulation. As we hear in this report by Uminjai, participants are hopeful of drawing up a document that promotes sustainable development as well as reverse serious environmental trends.
Validation seminar of the draft Environmental Impact Assessment Regulation. The document being finalized according to officials is a key factor for reversing serious environmental trends for overall sustainable development.
The workshop is meant to validate environmental impact assessment draft regulation. This draft regulation is meant to address the issues of EIA that people or developers have to go through the necessary EIA process in order to get everything done in terms of considering other environmental issues.
The environmental impact assessment is defined as a proactive and systematic process where potential environmental challenges are assessed, investigated and reported. The process is considered an effective tool for integrating environmental concerns in development planning and implementation, as it is guided by legislation and a regulatory framework.
The draft regulation, through the support of the Minister of Justice, was initiated a long time ago, but it could not come to play, and that has had some limited aspect in the way EIA issues are being done in the country. So we felt that when this thing is put into law, that would have at least tailored developers on what are the requirements that they need to do so as to address environmental impact issues. Because
EIA, as it is generally called, was not readily understood and accepted as a tool in developing countries. However, with time, the concept has now been recognized globally as an important development tool of integrating environmental issues with development planning.
Hence, it's a stakeholder issue. It is also important to call on all the necessary stakeholders so as to come and review the document and make their comments.
As environmental issues are seen as the business of all, the multi-sectoral participation of stakeholders in this will in no small measure enhance a sense of ownership with a view to further strengthening the importance of EIA in national development.
In a short, it is meant to assess perceived projects on their suitability in terms of environmental aspect and other social consequences and so forth. So basically, that's what EIS is all about. And then we envisage when the project or the document is validated and put into law, we expect some positive aspect in terms of addressing our environmental challenges, because this is very, very key, because environment is here to stay and we need to leave a positive environment for our future generation.
The day-long interface is expected to culminate into a final legal tool for integrating environmental concerns in development planning, guided by legislation and regulatory framework. Uminjai, GRTS.
19 skydivers Tuesday landed at the popular Palmarima Beach after a 10-minute flight from the Banjul International Airport. Louis Mendy witnessed the eye-catching moment when the divers made their descent on the seaside.
Site at the popular Palm Beach, skydivers sailing leisurely in the blue sky in a fascinating way, a show of one of the diverse and splendid activities the Gambia Tourism Board recently made available to tourists visiting the Smiling Coast.
The reason why we are doing this is because we want to ensure that the tourism industry is as entertaining as possible. At least we want to diversify the products of the tourism industry. The skydiving is one event. We're also looking forward to organizing several events. This could include sport fishing. You also have issues relating to bird watching activities. So like I mentioned, anything related to tourism will also have the support of the Ministry and the Gambia Tourism Board. In other words, like I say, these are some of the things that will help us in boosting the visitor arrival. So that is why we think it's very important for us to collaborate with the organizers.
10-minute beautiful flight to the altitude, which provided the 19 skydivers the glorious opportunity of viewing the Smiling Coast from its beautiful blue sky, was described as amazing. The journey began from the Banjul International Airport, and after 10 minutes, the pilots enjoyed a safe landing on this beautiful sandy beach with broad smiles on their faces. An interpretation of the pleasant experience. Some of them were privileged for the first time and some for the second.
Tell me your experience. Oh, it's fantastic. We just seen the view out the top there, see the River Gambia, see the whole of the Banjul spread out before us. It's beautiful. Just need some more sun.
It was nice up there. It's cold at the end, but it was good.
It's been really good. It's been great, lovely views and great weather to be jumping in.
To Tim and friends as first-timers in the Gambia, they are going home with rich memories of a country that has a lot to offer to tourists. Rebecca, diving for 10 years, was pleased to have her second turn in the Gambia. The first chance was in the previous season skydiving event, which coincidentally marked the beginning of such an activity in the Gambia. Rebecca is releasing many more opportunities in the coming years and